What's going on, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to set up conversion tracking on Google Ads, right? So it is very, very important to make sure that you have this set up because a lot of business owners that I've talked to, and we are a Google Ads agency myself. I run Google Ads, a seven-figure Google Ads agency where we manage about over $8 million in ad spend now. And speaking with a lot of business owners when they reach out to me to help them create, set up, manage their Google Ads, what I noticed for the people that's been running Google Ads is that they don't have conversion tracking set up. And when this happens, you're unable to you're basically flying blind. You're not able to track which keywords, which ad copies are are contributing towards your leads, your phone calls, your conversions, right? And so when you are running Google Ads and you're not seeing where this data is coming from, you're going to have a very, very hard time, number one, optimizing your campaign so that you can get better results, right? Making sure that you're allocating money towards things that are working and turning off things that are not working. Number two is that if you're unable to feed feed data to Google's algorithm, then Google's not going to be able to optimize your campaign, right? Because if you're not tracking conversions, that means that you're not able to feed what a conversion data is to Google. And so Google's not going to know how to go out there and try to get you more conversions. So when you have all this set up, you're going to be able to track everything. You're going to see which keywords, which ads, um, you know, all the good stuff on what is bringing you leads, conversions for your business. And then number two, as you get more data, right, as you're building up all these conversions, Google's algorithm is going to be able to go out there and say, hey, this is Jordan's business. This is what a conversion looks like to him. The conversion usually comes in at this time. The conversion is usually, this is the type of the behavior. This is what they're usually searching up. And when they have enough sufficient data, they're going to be able to go out and get that. So that is why it is so important to set up conversion tracking. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and I'm going to show you on how to set that up. All right. So this is my test account. What we're going to do is we're going to click on tools and settings, and then under measurement right here, you're going to click on conversions. Okay. And so this is for Google Ads. This is a specific Google ad account. So we're just going to go ahead, simple new conversion action. And there are two conversions that we want to set up, okay, depending on your business as well. But the two I'm going to be showing, assuming that you are a local business, you're trying to generate some phone calls and maybe some, lead form submission. So that is what we're going to do here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on website. Okay. We want to track everyone who submits a lead form and lands on our thank you page. So you're going to go ahead and enter your website domain. I'm going to pull up, this dummy domain here. Doesn't really matter, just for testing purposes. And then we're going to hit scan. All right. So now you have two options. Okay. Number one is that you could have Google automatically set up the conversion action for you, or you can set it up manually. Now, I like it old school. I like to personally set it up manually just because now I can see it. I know that it's set up properly. But, times are changing and you can do things a little bit easier. All right. So I'm going to show you both ways. Don't worry about it. And here's the automatic way right up here. Create conversion action for website events. What we want to track are people who submit a lead form that then ends up on your thank you page. Okay. So the conversion goal here, we're going to click on that, drop down. We're going to click on submit lead form. So this is when someone expresses an interest in your business by filling out a form that you provided to them, right? So if you're sending it to your website, your landing page, and there's a form where they can submit the information to you, from there, it's going to take them to the thank you page. And that means that they had submitted the form to you. Okay. So we're going to click on that. So we're going to tell Google that every time someone submits a lead form and ends up on our thank you page, we want to count them as a conversion. That is considered a lead for our business. Okay. So I'm going to go back here. And what we want to do is we want to grab the thank you page URL, which would be this link right here. However, I'm going to go back real quick and let me see here. Submit the boom, 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 URL. Let's see more settings. What I actually want to do is you can go URL starts with. I want to do is contain starts with. Okay, so we do starts with, then we could just put thank you right here. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy the thank you part and paste that in. Okay, so if it starts with this, then anything else that comes after this, it's still going to be the thank you page, right? Because oftentimes if we're running Google ads, sometimes it'll get redirected to like a different, like the numbers here might change, especially on ClickFunnels. It actually goes to something, this is the path. So it'll actually change, right? So what I do is I just take the thank you portion of here and throw that in. So everything that comes after this doesn't matter. As long as it starts with this, then we know that they are on the thank you page. Okay, primary action using for bidding optimization. We're going to go ahead and leave this as is. Add submit lead forms to account default goals. So what this is basically if we have this checked, it just means that, we're telling Google that this is one of our goals is to get people to submit a lead form. And then this is primary action used for bidding optimization, right? So Google will go out there and they will try to bid, efficiently so that we can get more lead form submissions. Conversion name, we can keep it something you can name it however you want. I like to just put, submit lead forms, something really simple and short. For values, I'm not going to use a value. However, if if you know that, for example, if you're like the ecom page, if you're a store and you know that sometimes every time someone checks out, lands on a thank you page, then that might be worth $20 to you. And you can go ahead and put that. But for the most part, if you're just trying to generate some leads here, we're not going to use a value. For the count, we're going to just use 1, okay? Because there might be times where one person might accidentally fill out the form more than once. Let's say they fill it out 5 times, right? We don't want to count one person as 5 conversions, okay? One person, one form, one count, and that's why we leave it there. All this here, we can leave it as is. Attribution, I personally like to leave it at last click. However, Google is driving this new attribution model called data driven. And you can read more about it here if you like hover over it. But essentially what last click is that, let's say, someone searches up your business and your ad, three different ad copies of yours show up and they click on all 3 of them, right? Let's just say they click on all 3 of your ad copies. Well, Google is only going to count the last ad copy that they clicked on, right? And then that ad copy will get the essentially credit for what led to your conversion. And that says right here, how much credit each ad interaction gets for your conversion. All right, so that's what that is. All this other stuff is, you can hover it and read about it. But last click or data driven will do. I personally like to do last click. Enhanced conversion, we're all good there. We're just gonna hit done. So that's how you do the automatic way, right? You can just leave it blank as well if you don't want to set that up and you just want to do it the manual way. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do the manual way. Add a conversion action manually. We're going to do the same thing here. The form submission, submit, however you want to do it. The drop down menu, we're going to click submit lead form. Click on that. All this remains the same. We're not going to use a value. We're going to just use 1. And then I personally like to do last click for attribution. And I'm going to hit done. And that's pretty much it. Okay. We click on settings here. We already messed with that. Just want to double check. Always double check your work. All right. From here, we're just going to go ahead and hit save and continue. From here, we're going to start getting instructions on how to copy and paste your codes. Super, super simple stuff. All right, so let's see here. So we can set up with the Google Tag Manager. This is kind of like why I don't like to do the automated way. Let's see. So we would want to take, copy and paste this code on the header of your website. So to do that, we would go ahead and copy this by clicking on this button right here. And we're going to go to our landing page or your website, and you want to copy and paste this into the header, right? So maybe if you're on WordPress, if you're on, you're building landing pages on Go High Level, ClickFunnels, whatever, your website, your landing page is being hosted on, you want it on the header. So in ClickFunnels, I'm going to click on settings, and right under where the head tracking code is, I'm going to paste that right in there. Okay. And what this is that it's saying, if I post in this head tracking code here in the settings, this is going to essentially be pasted on all of the landing pages here. So it's going to be automatically go on all the headers of all these 3 pages, instead of me having to individually go on each page and then pasting it on every single page, right? So this is basically like the universal head tracking code. All right, so we're going to go back and we're going to hit, we can test it. I'm not going to test it. See event snippet here. Now this is the this, I believe, is the code that will go on your thank you page. So we're going to see event snippet. We're going to leave the option on page load. So every time that this page, the thank you page loads up, then it's going to be, we know that it's the thank you page. So we're going to count it as conversion. So we're going to hit copy here. And since we already posted this universal code on the head tracking, we're going to go ahead and scroll down and make sure you save and update the settings. From there, we're going to go to the thank you page, right? Because now we don't want this code to go on every single page. We only want this code specifically on the thank you page, because when that page loads up, that means we know that they submitted the lead form and now they're on the thank you page. So we want to count that as conversion. So we're going to go ahead and edit the thank you page here. We're going to go to settings, and under tracking code, we're going to go in the header, paste our thank you, our conversion tag here, as you could see, and then hit save. And that's pretty much it. We're going to hit close and we are done. We can also email the instruction to our webmaster if we wanted to. All right, so we're going to hit done. And there you have it. So now we have set up the lead form submission. Okay. And I personally like I said, I personally like to just use the manual method. So that way we can just have one, essentially just one conversion action goal here instead of 2, right? It doesn't really make sense. But I guess you can put 2 just to make sure Google catches it, the manual catches it. So I guess it really doesn't hurt. So if that's the case, then I would maybe name it which one is the manual and which one is the automated one. Okay, because now we go back and we can't really tell which one's which. Yeah, so in the beginning, I would probably rename it, maybe lead form submissions dash manual, and then the other one, lead form submissions dash auto or something, just so you can differentiate which one is which. All right, so now that we have that set up, we're going to go ahead and now track phone call conversions. So every time that someone calls the tracking number on your page, we want to be able to count that as a conversion on our dashboard. So we're going to click on phone calls here, and then under 3 options, we're going to go calls to a phone number on your website. So when someone calls that phone number on your website, we want to count that as a conversion. We're going to hit continue, and then we're going to name it calls to website. We're not going to use a value. We're going to count it as 1, right? For every 1 phone call is 1 conversion. And then for phone numbers, that's where we want to put the tracking number in. Okay, so whatever tracking number you're using, we want to place that in here. Okay, so enter the phone number the caller should reach when they call your website. So this is the number that you know, probably your office number. And then the display number is the number that people will see on your website. So this might be the tracking number, and so forth. Okay. What I personally like to use is I like to use CallRail, guys, and using this to get a tracking number. Okay. It's really simple to use. I'll walk you through it here. All right. So we're going to go, obviously create your account and stuff. We're going to go in here. We're going to go into account settings. And then, nope. Okay. We're going to go to all companies, create a company, and then we're going to put test. We're going to go here. You'll go ahead and pick your time zone. I'll just put Eastern time for now. Add users. You can go ahead and add yourself. Create a company. All right. And then from here, we'll create a tracking number. Put down test again. We're going to use it online. We're going to use it on the Google Ads. So somewhere else. Oh, did I click that right? Sorry. Extension. Yes. Call only ads. Boom, boom, boom. Facebook ads. Yes. In ad extensions. Call extensions. Call only ads. So it's going to be using Google Ads extensions. We'll go with yes. Only on mobile devices. We're going to go mobile and desktop. And then where do you want to route your calls to? We'll go ahead and put your the office number. Okay. So let's just say we'll make up some number here. Boom, 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 boom. Let's just say this is the your business office number. We'll go number setup. And then from here, CallRail will give you options to pick a number, a tracking number. Okay. So let's say we can, select whatever you want, or you can use a toll-free number, but just use your local number here. You can also change your area code number if you want to do that. But for example purposes, let's just say this is our tracking number. Okay. So this tracking number is going to go on the landing page, on the thank you page. And every time that someone calls this number, it's going to forward them to the office number that, we had inputted in earlier. Okay. So then you would just follow through and just, click next until the numbers is complete. And we're going to go back here. And with that, we would be able to just paste it both into here. Okay. Because it doesn't really matter. This number is going to forward to the office number anyway. So that's why we can put it in both boxes. Right. So that's just the option, an extra option if you were to use a third-party software to do your call tracking. What's really important is that you want to make sure that it looks exactly like how it looks on the website. So if you're on your website, it has parentheses, right? Then you want it to input that just like that here as well. But let's say on your website, you're doing dashes, and that's how it looks on your website. Then that's exactly how we would want it to input it here as well. Okay. So it has to be, you have to be sure to enter it exactly as it appears on your website. So for call length, guys, it's going to be default at 60 seconds. I personally like to put it at 1 second. And the reason why is because calls are going to get dropped. Calls are going to, there's calls are going to be going missing, missed calls. But a lot of times phone calls do get dropped because you guys can't hear each other, or you guys got to put them on hold and then they hang up. So, right. So there's a lot of reasons why we put the minimum length for 1 second. And what this is going to do is that every time someone calls, if it goes 1 second, the phone call lasts for a second, Google will count that as a conversion for your campaign. Okay. But let's just say you put it at 60 seconds, but for whatever reason, the lead calls in and the call gets dropped and whatnot, then Google is not going to count that as a conversion. Okay. So I like to just put it as 1 second, just because every single phone call that comes in, we want to count that as a conversion. Attribution, once again, I like to put it at last click. We'll create and continue. From here, we're going to install the tag ourselves. And just like previously, we already installed this code. This was the Google, the code that goes in the header. So let me just show you what that looks like. We had already did that, okay? Right here in the settings. And this is that Google tag code I was talking about. Okay. So these two codes are exactly the same. You don't have to paste it again. You only need to paste that code one time. What we do need is the phone snippet code. This is the action code here saying that every time someone calls this number, we want to count that as a conversion. So we're going to go back into ClickFunnels here, and we're going to put that on, give it a couple of spaces. We're going to put that code right there, also in the head tracking code. So what this is saying is that this code will go on every single page on your landing page or your website, okay? And so no matter what page they are on, if they call this number, then that's going to be counted as a conversion. So we're going to just go back down, save and update settings. So the only code that we didn't put in here was a thank you page link, right? Because we don't want that code to be on every single page. We only want that code to be on the thank you page. So when that page loads up, we know that that is a conversion because the lead had submitted their information. From here, click next, we'll hit done. And that's pretty much it, guys. Now we are tracking lead form submissions, everyone that submits a lead form, and then we're tracking everyone that calls your tracking number. We can take it a step further by going to phone calls, and we can set these other ones up. So calls from ads using call extension or call only ads. So if you're running call only ads or some form of call extension ads on your Google Ads, we're going to go ahead and continue, and we'll go calls from extension, right? Don't use value, leave it at 1. Call length, we can do that 1 second. And last click. Now with call length, guys, even though we are counting every single call that comes in as a conversion, maybe some of you guys don't want that, right? So maybe a lot of you guys are business owners, you guys might be on the phone and you guys know that if you are on the phone with a lead for less than, I don't know, 20 seconds, that means it was a bad lead. So you know that everyone who's on the call for at least 30 seconds or to a minute is a good lead, then you might want to start, maybe you might want to start optimizing towards that, right? So later on, once you have more data, right, and you want to start optimizing your lead quality and saying, hey, I want Google to start optimizing for people who are more likely to be on the call for 30 to 60 seconds, then you can start changing that here. Okay, so that's an option for you guys for lead quality, right? So you can change it to 60 seconds if you're trying to improve that lead quality. So we'll hit create and continue, and we'll hit done. And then one last one, we'll hit new conversion action, clicks on your number on your mobile website. Okay, I like to just install all this just so that we have, we cover everything and we have the foundation built. So calls to mobile site, we're not going to use a value, we're going to go to 1, and from here we're going to go to the last click, create and continue. We'll install the tag ourselves. We already installed this code, so we don't need to do it again, but we will need this code. Okay, so we're going to copy that, go back to our landing page here, and we're going to paste that right under here. So a couple of spaces, hit enter, and this code will go in all the pages. So anytime, getting a call from an extension, then that'll automatically take care of that. So scroll down and hit save and update settings. Hit next here, hit done. And there you guys have it. That is exactly how you set up conversion tracking for Google Ads. All right. Now we can go take it a step further. We can edit goal. We can change things, right? We can do secondary action if you don't want to optimize for that. Just observe. Phone calls here. We can change things from primary actions to secondary. So you can really play around with this. Let's just say you want to optimize more for phone calls and you don't really want to optimize for the lead form submissions. We can hit edit goal, and instead of primary action, we'll just go secondary, observe only. So this isn't, it'll still track it, but that isn't our goal. So we're telling Google, hey, we're not really trying to optimize or, go after these type of leads. So then we'll hit save changes, and then we'll try to optimize for phone call leads. I like to just leave it as is, and then Google will do its thing. All right, guys. So if you guys found this video helpful, please drop a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I drop lots of free content on, growing your social media marketing agency, your Google Ads agency, and all technical stuff like this. All right. See you guys in the next video.